Hi there. Today we're talking about the undefined G center in human design, and we'll start with where exactly is the G center. So the G center is this rhomboid thingy in the middle of the body graph. In this image, it is defined. When it's undefined, it's white. And how it relates to confidence? That's an interesting question. The G center is all about direction on the first level, and on the second level, it's about career path and love. So, direction, when you have an undefined G center, you get lost very easily, physically lost very easily. You don't really have concrete feeling of where you're supposed to go. So, it's very easy for you to get disoriented, and Google Maps is your best friend. On the other side, since you don't really have that sense of direction, for you, where you are is very important. So you can feel confident in a specific space, but not in other types of spaces. And that is very important for you to know that the physical environment, what you have around you, is very important for you to feel confident and for you to feel comfortable. So for you, you have to experiment with what types of places feel better for you. Where do you feel more confident? So for example, you might feel more confident in a bar than you do at a swim pool. For others, they might feel very confident at a swim pool, but not as confident at a university or a school. The type of space you are in is also very important. So it might, for example, be that you feel more comfortable when you're facing the door than when you're with your back against the door. Those small little things about how you move into the space, how you prefer to stay, can influence how you feel about yourself as well. The other thing that is very important when it comes to the G center is your life direction and love. What I mean by that is that if you have a defined G center, you very often know what you want to do. You have something that is just pulling you towards your goal. If you have seen people that when they're four, they say, I want to become an army man, and then 20 years later, they are an accomplished army man, that is someone with a defined G center. For you, if your G center is undefined, you have a lot of interests. You tend to jump around, get distracted. It might seem that you get distracted, but in actuality, you're just following yourself. You're just following what feels right. And that is amazing. For you, if you have an undefined G center, it's a challenge to follow one path throughout your whole life. That might make you feel insecure because you feel like you're jumping from one thing to the other, but that should not be the case. The fact that you are going from one thing to the other, you're getting in deep into these different topics, different subjects, for you means that you develop a much more encompassing, much more broad skill set. So you have that going for you. You have the fact that you are comfortable in different contexts, in different spaces, in different professional environments going for you. And that is something that you should focus on instead of focusing that you cannot seem to make up your mind. Because the fact is, if you start thinking about that, you are going into an anxious and not very happy state. So for you, the challenge is to accept that you're going to change what you like, what you find interesting, relatively often throughout your life. And that is fine. There's nothing bad about that. It's actually amazing. And the G Center is also about the love. So whether you are afraid of judgment, whether you are accepting to be loved, because the fact is, for you, one of the things that you have to learn in this life is to learn who you are. Exactly because you like a lot of different things that have nothing in common, for you, it's a challenge to figure out who you are. And that makes it much easier for you to fall for people that supposedly see who you are. That is not always the case, and you have to be very careful about that. Whether when you're entering a relationship, you feel comfortable around the person, and that is not just about how your mind perceives it. For you, it's important to know when you're being first priority in a relationship. You're prone to getting into relationships where you're second priority, and you tend to let the other person guide your life, guide you where you want to go, and to keep an eye. Something that is very important about your G center is that it is the center of self love. So, when your G center is open, you tend to not really love yourself, and you're here to start learning how to do that. In the next chapter, we will actually cover more about that, more about loving your physical self. And in later chapters, we'll also talk about accepting yourself and being at peace with who you are. I have prepared for you an exercise which is called G Center Reflective Exercise, and you can find it in the exercise reference guide. It is it lists a few questions that I would like for you to pay attention in the next week, so that you can see how are you feeling in certain situations in different spaces, and learn more about yourself by reflecting on those questions. The next video is about the spleen center, and I will be waiting for you there.